Welcome, everyone, to the Table Talk Show. We just flipped over from the starting screen. I don't know. I have no idea why you think we've been streaming for, I don't know, 5 minutes now. We've definitely just now came in. Hi,
Absolutely.
I am Kay. I am one of your co-hosts. It is Tuesday. It is the Table Talk Show, and we're going to be talking to our guest, Nathan, about the Dungeon Puzzle Cube. But first, Candace, who are you, and what are we doing here?
Hello. We have sound now. It's like civilization. We have sound. My name is Candace. You might know me as Candace the Magnificent. My pronouns are they, she, and today I'm here co-hosting the Table Talk Show. And I am gonna try to be as good as David, but I'm not gonna succeed. But I'm gonna do a darn good job trying. You can find me at Candace Marie on Twitter and Blue Sky, and at Candace Magnificent everywhere else. I am very excited to talk about this puzzle cube. I am a puzzle nerd in TTRPGs, so this is a big deal for me.
How are your Star Trek rants?
I mean...
Yeah? Okay.
I'm ready.
In case we need it. Just in case we need it.
Yeah. I'll get into it.
I need y'all to know every time we have a guest in the green room, we're like, okay, chat is going to try and derail us. If there's comments about centaurs or Star Trek, it's deliberate. But yes, Candace, okay, I know this is a dangerous thing, but give us a quick high level, what's some cool stuff you're on and where can people find it?
Okay, you can find me, if you like magical girl stuff, you can find me on the podcast Gloom and Blight. If you like cosmic horror, you can find me on the podcast Partial Veil. If you like weird horror that's going to show you a mirror of yourself being a producer and or creative in the TTRPG and podcasting industry, you should listen to Frequencies and cry with me. And if you want to see me other places, look at my social.
I'm Kay. I am trying to get back in the habit of streaming. I streamed both Saturday and Sunday, but I'm trying to pick a day of the week. But a couple things are starting to spin up, so I'm trying to figure out the day. David will hopefully be back. Our usual host has been in the hospital for a little bit, so we're hoping to have him back soon, but it's going to be a little while, and Candace has been amazing and stepped in to fill very large shoes. Thank you again to everyone who sent him messages, especially voice messages to play. They've meant a lot to him. You can find me here Tuesdays doing this, and you can find me this Friday and every other Friday over at Entropy Emporium, where I play Brandon, the Himbo Ranger. Someone gave him a dragon. That's the worst thing ever. And this himbo should never have been allowed a dragon. Like, he's a good soul. He's never had a thought in his brain and has no business being responsible for a whole dragon.
This is a stupid thing to say, but does the dragon match the drapes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They both. He is a T-fork. And he's got his dad's green skin, and his little dragon is a little green. Yeah, they're very cute.
I mean, come on.
Yes. And the 4th season of Emergency Power Podcast is being edited and will be out soon, so please go check that out at emergencypowerpodcast.com. And with all of that out of the way, Nathan, who the heck is you, and what are you doing that we get to have you here?
Hi, so I'm Nathan Doyle. My little company thing that I have, attention deficit dragons, for reasons that I hope don't need explanation. Also, apparently chat's going to try to derail us. It'll probably work because I have not taken Adderall today. So, yeah.
Challenge issued, y'all.
I write Dungeons and Dragons content predominantly, but I also write other stuff for other RPGs, stuff that works for every RPG. I've designed several board games that now basically just sit in a box on top of the shelf of other board games. One day I'll do something with them, maybe. Yeah, I've got a bunch of things published on the DMs Guild and on Drive-Thru RPG. I've got several things that are available in print. I've got, I don't know, things. I've got a lot of PDFs that I've never finished, and they're just sitting half done somewhere.
I don't know anything
on
about that. Why are you coming out swinging?
I mean, it's getting real loud.
Right? This is yikes. I thought we were friends here.
It's because it takes one to know one. That's what it is.
Yeah, Yeah.
Some of
Again,
y'all know about the playtest we ran.
Attention
That's still
deficit
not
and
done.
dragons.
Yeah.
Yes, which is a
we all
wonderful
belong there.
moniker. Yes, a truly excellent moniker.
Yes.
At any point in this, it's definitely possible that a bird will land on my shoulder. Hopefully, they don't try to bite my headphones.
Ooh.
They love.
I know we're
believe it.
here
It's
to talk
shiny.
about your puzzle cube, but I also want to know what kind of birds you have.
Yeah, I told Nathan, like,
Probably
warning
arrange
everyone,
that.
there's going to be some little birdie squawks, so,
Yeah.
this may not be the most acoustically friendly episode we ever do, but you get burbs.
I was
I
gonna
told
say,
Nathan
it's
we
quite
have,
pet friendly.
right, I'm like, we have a cat counter, and if we need a burb counter, we definitely can.
Oh, Mimics and Misfits Matt says, do you take commissions for adventures/supplements for systems?
I've never had that be a thing, but I'm sure I could make it a thing.
That's exciting. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, there are many a burb in the background, but with the cropping, you can't see as many burbs as we can.
Hello, look at you.
Oh, is that
This is Gizmo.
That's a painted conure?
No, this is a black-headed keiki. I am
Okay.
mispronouncing the type of bird name because the correct pronunciation is the same as a racial slur.
Mm.
So, reasons. His name is
Good
Gizmo.
reasons.
He likes to bite. His vet says that it might be a girl because his hips are really wide apart. We've never actually checked because birds don't have outer bits. He gets really mad when he's not the center of attention.
Mhm. Well, tell him that there are quite a few people focusing on him right now.
Yeah, you are the center of attention right now.
Yes.
Gizmo. You just can't see.
More people than you know, Gizmo. He is adorable.
Yeah, he doesn't fly because he's a rescue, and his wings have been clipped for most of his life, and so he doesn't remember how and doesn't have the muscles for it. And now he is eyeballing my fake chicken nuggets over there.
They do that, don't they? Yeah,
Oh man,
one of my first
he
jobs
even likes
was-
regular chicken nuggets.
That's a little spicy there, buddy.
Oh yeah, he's very bitey.
Yeah, one of my just this little bit. One of my first jobs, I worked at a Petco, and we had some conures that were just. I'm always like, is that a conure? Those are my favorites. But
He doesn't like to be on the shoulder. He prefers like, oh, your hand is down there. Oh, your hand is clicking that little plastic thing. I will stand on your finger.
Yes, yes.
So cute.
And we'll bring out some of the other birds when they feel like being on camera.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've tried to introduce Sassafras to the camera, but he's
sassy.
Yeah, Sassy is what we call him, but Sassafras is the full name.
So cute.
I mean,
and the beard climbing.
we
right
we
back
can
to the
barely
food.
see the little Sunny back there.
Aww.
Yeah, so we've got a sun conure,
Gende.
Gende conure.
Gende conure.
They're very close. They look very
Yeah.
similar. He's a Gende.
We have a Quaker
So
parrot
cute.
that does not get along with the conure, so they won't be out at the same time, unless we're able to watch them like a hawk.
Mm-hmm. Bird
Yes.
pun. Good.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
birds.
we
It
are
allows
we
me to
are
be very piratey.
we are fans of the dinosaur kin here.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we have had a wonderful, Chavez says eggs are a weirdly normal thing to feed to birds. So, hi Nate, hi Rose, hi Burbs, says Uncle Lego.
He's one of the players that plays with us on Tuesdays.
Oh,
Or
awesome.
my wife on Tuesdays.
Yeah, normally there's a D&D game being run right now, but that didn't happen today, so get to be here.
Yay.
So we are here to talk about a really cool thing that you have been working on, Lazlo's Cube Crypt. Tell us. I have put the link in chat to the Backerkit, which is going to launch next month-ish. We'll talk about some of that later, but tell us about this, because this is a Rubik's Cube dungeon thing for D&D, which we got some puzzle nerds
That
in
is
here.
what it is.
Oh man, that's awesome.
It started like basically with a lot of my crazier ideas. It started with something for my home game. I found one of Dyson Logos' map that was in his free for commercial use thing. And originally, I didn't really have any plans to use it commercially for anything. It's just like, hey, one of my players has a whole bunch of puzzle cubes, and so I can make this into a thing, a prop for the game. Then I got a physical prop made. This is not actually the one that I had made originally. This is the one from the people who will be producing it for the Backerkit campaign. But I posted it on Twitter, and I tagged Dyson Logos, who then retweeted it to everybody who follows him. And the next thing I know, my Twitter notifications is just being filled with people posting the Futurama Fry "Go ahead and take my money" meme. And I'm just like, okay, I guess I can do something with this. This also happened to be right around the same time that Wizards decided, F the OGL, we don't need to respect these things. And there was a period of time when I was worried that I would not actually be able to do this thing with it. So I got permission from him to just produce the Rubik's Cubes themselves, if necessary, since commercial use doesn't cover things where art is pretty much a thing. You can't do a t-shirt of his maps. And so this kind of falls under that. But he said I could. And so, but the OGL thing has been resolved, and I can still produce the adventure. So I've written an adventure. Everything's good to go. It does turn. I'm just reticent to move it around too much because I am bad at it. So if I actually mix this up, it's never getting solved by me.
One of the people I play with in my home game is a puzzle fiend. He's a magician, so he does all of the cards vanishing and stuff. Like, he would lose his mind over this. Like, Billy, I know it's too late for you to be watching, but Billy, I'm gonna have to get one of these to you because I can see your brain melting right now. Billy's the one who wants to run the Lord of the Rings game.
Oh my goodness. Billy, I have words that I need to, I have words to hand you.
Ilaria wants to know, is the cube a Hellraiser?
No.
Maybe.
How complete is that adventure?
Well, my adventure is written. It's done. It's ready to go. Part of the Backerkit campaign, though, because I wrote an adventure for 12th level, but not everybody's game is at 12th level. So instead of writing a bunch of contiguous adventures to be a full-on storyline, the goal is to have a bunch of other writers write other adventures that use the same map and or the same prop, so that somebody can have the book and use it wherever their players might be in their game. So they might not face Lazlo the Lavish in his cube crypt. They might fight some other thing in some other crypt cube conundrum. I have a feeling a lot of them are probably going to have some kind of cube theme in their name, but that's not a guarantee. So far, I only know one of them is for sure doing that. Maybe ?
So, real quick, I'm gonna ask your question, Matt, because it's an excellent one. But I just want to say, good on you, because the number of people who I have talked to who are like, I'm about to run a Kickstarter, and they're like, as soon as the Kickstarter is funded, I'll start work on this. And I'm like, no, you need it at least 80% done before you even do the Kickstarter. Like, maybe not physically printed, but have your stuff done, because that's going to take longer and go faster than you are prepared. So good on you.
My adventure's written. So like if it funds at the minimum level, we'll be ready to, like, it'll probably be ready to print in like a month or 3. I've got the producer lined up. They basically said it'll take them a couple of weeks if I order fewer than 300 of the cubes. If I need more than that, it'll take a few more weeks. But yeah, it's ready to go. more or less. I mean, there are going to be more adventures, I hope. One of the things that people ask is like, oh, can you mix this up and have a new dungeon? Yes, asterisk, it wouldn't really work because this map is meant to be done in a solved state. But one of the proposed stretch goals is actually going to be a cube with dungeon geomorphs on it, which will then you can just mix it up and then you'll have a dungeon ready to go.
Yeah.
I would probably have to color code them because if it was all done in black and white, there would technically be no solved state for it because you'd never really be able to actually know where they were. So if someone wants it to be a solvable puzzle, I'd have to color code it, but I haven't set, we haven't launched the campaign yet. I don't know if we've hit that goal.
So, Matt, you addressed this a little bit. Matt said, just mixing up the different, make different unique dungeons, or is it solve for a path ahead and there's a true result? Which you did somewhere.
There is a true result. There are a few things I've noticed where if you do one turn, you can still kind of work with it, but if you jumble it completely up, it'll be.
Yeah. So tell us, give us let's take a step back and do kind of the broad overview of how does the adventure tie into the puzzle? How does the cube, what's kind of the intended approach of playing this?
Okay, so spoiler alert. The cube is Lazlo's phylactery. The kind of the gist of it, right? The dungeon starts here. There's the camera here. They go in through the thing, and then on the next one in this room, there's a pedestal with the cube on it, mixed up. All the doors up to this point are fake while you're in the material plane, and as soon as someone solves the puzzle cube, all the players in the room, all the characters in the room, are transported into the demi-plane of the place. And then they have to find Lazlo, kill him, and destroy the puzzle cube. They don't know they have to destroy the puzzle cube because there's absolutely nothing to tell them that is the phylactery, because what's a good lich without him coming back 6 or 7 times? But maybe the players figured out.
Can I just say I'm impressed that Captions gets phylactery? Well,
phylactery is a Greek word that means amulet, so it's not that bizarre.
It's absolutely wild. As you were saying earlier, it was getting the birds with a Y, and yet it gets phylactery.
Yeah.
And again,
maybe
all
it's
the
thinking
Pokemon,
phylactery is a Pokemon.
Right? Gengar,
Rowlet.
It's all good with, well, it got Ginger, not Gengar, but
Rubbish. Nope,
it got
didn't
rubbish.
get rubbish.
Nope, it's close. It tried. It tried its best. Valeria says that cube seems super exciting. Yeah, that's an interesting. Oh no, we have to go do it again.
Right. And so hypothetically, I might even make a few more of them. Maybe Lazlo's cube crypt will have multiple levels in case they don't defeat him the first time.
That'd be a hell of a stretch goal too.
Ooh. Right. Shaw Vincent asks, are you just producing a standard size Rubik's Cubes, or will there be a full-size one where you can place minis on?
Oh.
Whoa.
I have no idea where I would even go to do
right?
that.
That's wow, that would be a foot each
this
side.
Map is this is 12 by 12. So that would be a cube that would have 4 inches on each thing. I mean, I'm not saying that would be impossible, but I have no idea where I would even go to get something like that.
That'd be wild.
That feels like a Dimension 20 stretch goal prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the stranger says, unrelated to the cube, I just want to say Nathan is a great GM.
Yeah, he's one of my players, and I think he's just saying that because he doesn't want me to kill his character.
I mean, I have definitely said nicer things to a GM for lesser reasons.
There's nothing wrong with bargaining, okay?
Exactly.
That is a strategy.
Exactly.
Yes, they did have to purchase the clue to one of my absurd puzzles. It wasn't really a puzzle. It was just a thing.
I think I really love the fact that it's so versatile. Like, obviously you can use it for your game and there's an adventure associated with it, but like someone like my mom, for example, both my brother and I run games. We both love TTRPGs. My mom does not understand. We have tried explaining to her numerous times and she's just like smile and nod. But my mom is a huge puzzle person. And I feel like if I purchased this for her, she would be excited to just solve the puzzle itself. And then hearing that like you can walk around inside of this crypt, that might sell her on TTRPGs. Like she might be able to get there, because otherwise she's like, I don't understand. But that's like a visual representation of like how we play, and I think that's so cool.
Go on.
Is one of the do you plan on releasing like a cloth version or a printed version of the actual flat map so that you can have minis on it? Or
I haven't considered that, but that's definitely something I could consider. So one of the things though that is about it, because like not everyone can solve the puzzle, right? And like obviously I don't want people who players, if they have no players that can solve one, I don't want them to just like, oh well, I'm not going to get that because my players won't ever be able to do it. I have an alternate set of rules for how you would do it that would just basically involve the players find a puzzle cube, but just it starts out solved, and like when they pick it up, but the like the key, that part is like unchanged. But if you go and you do the adventure in like an old school style where the players draw their own maps as they go, because this is mapped to a cube, you can't actually map it properly. You can go in circles in this map, but the circles will not connect on a two-dimensional piece of paper. And so like that could be a different element of running the story, is that the players have to figure out that the demi-plane that they're on does not follow conventional Euclidean geometry. And so eventually they'll figure it out, we hope. But yeah. So you can do that. And then, so one of the things that I had suggested was that if the dungeon master just prints out like a dozen of each room, that they can just then like kind of do it like board game style, and then see how long it takes the players to realize it's like, wait, is this the same room as this one? And then maybe they'll figure it out and they'll be like, oh, okay, this place is weird. And that's kind of the goal. Weird is good.
Agreed.
Normal is normal. I don't want to say normal is bad, but weird is good.
I also really like, one of the things that I have is the deck of many more things, which has a whole element of it. There's a whole bunch of like character creation tools for it. You can use it for divining in game, but you could use it for dungeon creation. Because a lot of the times people are like, oh yeah, we're gonna go here. And it's like, oh, I need a quick dungeon layout. I need stuff in the dungeon. And it could be a lot of like decision paralysis or last minute paralysis as GM. And with that, you can just kind of pull out some cards and slap them down and be like, okay, this room is here and it's gonna have this in it, right? You can just throw that and use that. That's cool that you could just twist this up and then very quickly be like, and okay, go explore this right here. This is its own little mini adventure.
You can do like a few random turns and then just like have something that kind of vaguely resembles a map. Like I've got to remember my camera is here, not at the thing on the screen, right? That's not the actual layout of it because I've turned it a few times. But like, you can do a few turns and it's not completely bizarre, and you could make a little quick thing with it. But like I said, hopefully we get to have, a full-on dungeon geomorph thing. The real hard part about that is, as far as commissioning artists and cartographers, it's like, hey, I need 54 separate maps.
That's a lot. That's a big ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, what if we go even further and get a 4x4x4 cube with geomorphs? Well, that's a lot more maps.
Yeah.
I calculated it at one point in time with the project manager, who was the one who initially contacted y'all about me being on the show. It's been great having her support because of my ADHD. She keeps me on track. But at one point, I don't remember the number anymore, but we did calculate like exactly how many different permutations it would have. even with just a 3x3x3 cube. Since I don't remember it, I'm just going to go ask. I'm going to go ask Google again. How many? Let's spell this right. Does a 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube have? A 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube has 43 quintillion possible permutations. Actually, a lot more than that, but like the number is really large. And that's with a 3x3x3. A 4x4x4 becomes so absurdly high that it's a number that, like, I mean, it's a number that doesn't even like have a word. I have to say 7,401 septillion because it's that big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like,
math is scary.
That's how many different dungeons you can make. You'll never run out of dungeons, but if you don't like that type of dungeon, obviously, then it doesn't really work. They're really good for the old school style, which is kind of the vibe I try to go for. I like doing old school stuff with new school things. Which bird is that? If I turn my head, I'm worried I'll spook them. Oh, that's Molly. This is Molly Mock.
Oh,
Molly Mock likes to
Molly
talk.
as well.
Yeah, of the four parrots, Molly Mock's the only one that can talk.
Oh.
Sometimes Molly Mock says things that are not always appropriate. We get a lot of, "Oh my God, how you doing? You go bite my finger. Your beak is so short." He knows he's on camera, so he's not saying anything.
Right. I don't perform for you.
That's right.
Which is the least Molly Mock thing ever.
Right?
Like, oh, we're performing.
Yeah. It does lead to this thing, though, is we always call him Molly for short, then which leads to the vets always assuming it's a girl bird.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I don't think Molly minds because Molly is a bird.
And, you know,
there's
the canon Molly Mock was gender fluid. We just didn't get that far into the campaign to find that out. So yeah, that is very cool. I've seen a whole lot, like a very big push recently of a lot of GMs, including Eugenio, who've been taking old school D&D content and adventures and then dragging it into 5e and 5.5 and doing like modern mechanics with these old school maps and these old school like bosses and monsters and structures. You know, not necessarily waiting for WotC to update their own content, doing it themselves.
For a while there, Goodman Games had rights to some of the old stuff, and they made the original Adventures Reincarnated series.
Mm-hmm.
They had, like, you know, Castle Amber, Keep at the Borderlands, Expedition to the Barrier Peak, because, you know, who says the dungeon can't be a spaceship, and who says there can't be lasers?
That's
It was
true.
also the first appearance of the Frog Hemoth. And, yeah, I don't know. Lasers.
For
But
me,
yeah.
For me, I think that like I'm very new to relatively new to D&D as a player. I'm very non-traditional. I started with like very much a homebrew style D&D thing. One was Western, one was Steven Universe themed. So I was very far away from that kind of thing. The first campaign that I ever finished was a Savage Worlds campaign. So I'm not like your classic D&D person, right? I mostly play because my friends run it and I want to play with them. So that's kind of how I got into D&D rather than it being like my first system. So the idea of like being able to play with that very kind of more old school focus with like old school, you know, dungeon diving and things like that and solving puzzles and riddles and stuff like that appeals to someone like me because it's not old hat, right? That's all like new to me. So I love things that allow me to kind of go a little deeper, especially because if I am using a system, like I don't know how to run D&D yet, right? But like if I want to run a scenario from D&D and I want to use a different system that I do know how to run, having a prop like this is something like having a physical puzzle, right? Technically it's system agnostic. You can run the associated adventure that you're writing, right, in D&D 5e. But like you don't have to use that. You can use that just for the actual puzzle itself and then plan around it too, which I really, really like. There's been kind of a rise in the last few years of physical like D&D accessories and products, whether it's like cards or yours is very much a first with this cube. Super interesting. But I think that for me, having something tangible and tactile just deepens that experience for me when I play, and like I want that for my players too.
Yeah, I dropped you a new link, Candace. I think your captions got cranky. Yeah, I've actually, I hurt the hearts of my long-running home game group when I said I've played like 4 in-person TTRPG sessions total in my entire life. So like physical props are really not to say that the GM that ran the sessions in person, like they're great. They just weren't like they had, they were here's the whiteboard mat. That's great. I had no props, but I've never had the experience of like, here's open the letter,
Oh man, and I've like my big thing is like, if you take a paper bag from the grocery store and like carefully pull off the glue, you can lay that flat, draw a map on it, burn the edges, burn a random hole in the middle, whatever, then just like sprinkle the whole thing up into a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like leave it like that for a few days, and then just take it apart, and then you fold it up and just give it to the players.
Mm-hmm.
Players love that kind of thing.
Yeah,
we're partway through making it. My wife wanted to actually draw it, and so she's penciling it out first because she's not as chaotic about those things as me. I'm just grab a Sharpie pen. It's like, oh, made a mistake there. Well, so did the cartographer.
I love that though. Like I mean, I am such a fucking sucker for a handout.
Oh
yeah,
handouts are great.
I'm that player that like brings a folder, and then I keep the handout and the business card and whatever other shit that you've given me in the folder, and then I have a separate folder in my phone of all the photographs I've taken of anything that I was not allowed to take home or was discouraged from stealing.
Yeah, someone needs to send the player characters a message, write up a letter, hand it to the players, and have one of them read it in character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not everybody does voices, but they should. No, that's not required. Some people can't, and that's okay.
Give me. I'm thinking. I can't. Peter just had a moment.
A thing happening?
Yeah, maybe. Hold on. Let me do this. Yeah. Good gravy. Well, the good news is this is being recorded, so the VOD will be fine. Okay, let's see if this will make it behave. Okay. Is this even working? Why? I think my OBS just... Can y'all see? Can y'all check? Hold on.
Oh, we're frozen.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
Oh, okay. We're moving again on my screen.
Okay. I stopped the stream and then
It's also just
it again.
cameras because the the captions are still working.
That's hilarious. All right. Just a moment. Nope.
Hang on a moment. Okay. We need to slay the technical difficulties.
It's nothing difficult is ever easy. One moment.
A streamer's work is never over.
Right. It's thinking. All right. Hopefully we should be back. Thank you all for bearing with us. Yeah, apparently OBS said, no, I'm going to take a nap in the middle of the stream. So it had to be shut down, but then it came right back. So thank you for sticking with us. So sorry, Nathan. Again, normally we're not quite this
no
chaotic. But the show must go on. Rose Warrior, welcome on in.
That's my wife, by the way.
Oh, hello. Thank you for showing off the burbs. We appreciate. We are big fans of the animals here. Yes, and I know that you were saying, like, yes, it is for D&D 5e, but you had hopes it might transcend.
Oh yes, so I'm already talking with some people who do Pathfinder 2e conversions and Shadow Dark conversions. And so hopefully it can raise enough money in the Backerkit campaign that we'll be able to at least have those going. I'm open to doing other things. I have no idea where to find people who do conversions for those, because the majority of my circles is basically D&D, Pathfinder, and Shadow Dark. But that's mostly because I really want to learn Shadow Dark, and I don't really learn well by reading the book. Like, I could read the book and know everything that it says and still have no idea how to play that game.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find people who know, and I can just play with it. But
I've said it many times. I actually started on Pathfinder 1E, was my first TTRPG, and I learned 5E just by watching streams and watching games, because I went and I started to read the book and I went, this isn't going in. Let me watch someone play. And then once I watched people play, I'm like, oh, and then I went and I had a GM, I was playing a rogue, and the GM was like, you only get sneak attack if you're hidden.
that's not in the rules.
It was not, but how do you argue with the GM when it's your first time ever playing D&D?
Well,
right?
Hopefully you cite the appropriate page number, but also, you know, whatever.
I watched an actual play and saw someone saying, okay, and because this person is in range, I get sneak attack. And I went, oh, and I went and looked up sneak attack and was like, now I've got it. And he was like, oh, bah, bah, bah. Okay, yes, you get that.
Now, to be fair, in that DM's defense, calling it sneak attack was a terrible idea.
Yes.
Because it makes it seem like you have to be sneaky.
This is why I always say to people, I'm like, and I say this to everyone, especially if you're new to TTRPGs, don't sit down and read the manual. Don't sit down and read the book to start. Watch an actual play. A good GM can teach you the rules. You need to know how to be at the table first and foremost. You know how to interact with everyone else at the table? You're going to be a much better player than someone who's gone, I've read every single rule and I can quote this like a Star Trek script, because on page 343 it says, yeah. I don't need that. I need someone who can roll with the punches, interact with people, share the spotlight. Figure out how to do that, and I'll teach you the rules to any game.
You don't like a rules lawyer, Kay?
I don't mind a rules lawyer. I appreciate a level of rules lawyer. I don't want to be the GM who goes, no, you only get sneak attack from hidden, right? I want someone to go, actually, you also get it from this. Is that right? Cool, done. I don't want the rules lawyer who I say, okay, so in this game, you can only use inspiration for a stress check. And they're like, that's not actually what inspiration does, and I'm going to argue with you because I don't take... That's where I get impatient.
Now, you see, because because it's fall right now. It's autumn. Using feather fall should prevent all damage that I take right now.
Exactly.
Fall damage. Also, I've had a player who was not actually being serious about this, but was trying to ask if you could use feather fall to stop a falling boulder from hurting you because it's falling and it would do damage. And that one,
I'd allow that.
Yeah, that's a
seemed
creative
like
use of...
Yeah, I would
like
think
it's
about
a stretch,
it.
but like, I guess casting Featherfall on the rock, I would just say that you could just get out of its way. But like, I don't know. It just seems like it is falling, and that falling is going to make it do damage.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love a creative player who doesn't mind like throwing a curveball. If you make me go, huh, you're probably doing whatever it is you're saying you're gonna do. Like 98% of this.
But then it leads to other questions, right?
Oh,
like,
look,
if you're in the reverse gravity area, right, and you fall up, is that falling or is that?
Look, in Starfinder.
Not falling?
In Starfinder, I have a character who has they have an augment that lets them like walk on air at a 45-degree angle, up to a 45-degree angle.
From where?
Just you could.
If they start lying prone, does that change which direction counts as up to 45-degree angle?
So technically, they get to stand as a free action from prone because of other things. I built a mix. But yeah, so the number of times I'm like, okay, GM, he's like, okay, you know, you're fighting this battle, and I have to be careful about what I say because this hasn't come out yet. But I'm like, okay, GM, so if anytime we do this thing, we have to do an acrobatics check, and I have these, and they're like, you basically create gravity wherever yes, you don't have to do the acrobat, you just get to do it. Just or like, okay, so it's a 45-degree angle. I'm about 6 stories up, but my move speed is 40 feet plus haste, which is 30 feet, plus I get 2 moves per action. Plus, with this move, I get to move 4 times my movement speed in one direction as a standard action. Yes, you can do it. Just stop asking. Stop.
Here's the thing, though. I see what Nathan was trying to say.
I also just realized that one of the people in chat is actually the player who
yes was
did
like,
the fall
I stand
damage
by
thing.
it. I did it.
That's Schwa. He and I have all kinds of philosophical discussions on what words actually mean in relation to the game.
I get that. Yes.
I like that though. Like I'm super into that because like.
Oh yeah, I love the conversation too. Unfortunately, everyone else at the table while we're playing wants us to stop and go back to play.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's always the problem. Because there's always at least one person that's like.
Yeah. Can we pin this? Can we pin this and come back to it? I really want to have this, but like, let's write it down because we are all neurodivergent and none of us will remember unless it's written on a sticky note.
It's true.
But no, I have to be, again, careful what I say because it's not out yet. But in a game that I ran, I had a player weaponize levitate in the most creative way. And I cannot wait for everyone to listen to this combat and see what was done because it's so good.
All right.
Yes. Creative use of rules, creative, like, because this is what Candace knows. I am very comfortable in like in the more rules heavy and the more structured TTRPG settings. I'm like, I know that what I'm asking is pushing a boundary. So you can tell me no, but hear me out. Hear me out. And I want to know when I'm trying to push that boundary.
Yeah. Kay likes crunchy games so that she can crush the pebbles of crunch up into a fine powder and snort it. That's why Kay likes crunchy games.
Powered kill does not reduce your hit points. It does not apply conditions defined in the rules. It has no mechanical effect. Woo!
Right. The rules do not say what happens when you are dead.
Hey, Nora.
It says what happens when your hit points go to 0.
Mm-hmm.
But power word kill doesn't do that. It kills you. What does that mean? It has no mechanical effect. That's the kind of stuff that we talk about all the time.
Oh yeah. I played a game with 2 rules lawyers. One who was a good one. One who was the good, like one of the rules lawyers was like, technically it says this, so I understand if you do not allow it, because technically, but an interpretation would mean this. Which one do you rule, right? I love those rules lawyers. The other one was like, okay, but the rules say this, so if you do that, I mean, it's your game, and you are the GM, you can, but you're gonna be wrong if you do that. It's like, please, no, please, no.
No. So for me, the rules lawyer, it's a slippery slope, right? Like I am not a lawyer with rules because I don't have rules like that. I am a rule of cool GM. You show up at my table and I will be a stickler about maybe 2 things, maybe. If I'm running Savage Worlds, I have a better understanding of like the tricksy sides of that. I'll be a little shitty if I'm running Savage Worlds, but like for the most part, I'm just like, we're telling a cool story. I can't be bothered sometimes. But like, I just, when it comes to rules lawyers that don't know the rules, they just need to get their way. Yes. That's the worst possible rules lawyer. Like I've played with a person like that who like has been playing the game for like 4 years, right? Should know at this point, has argued this very same thing before because it's a thing that has to do with their character and their signature weapon, right? So they've definitely asked it at least 17 times in the past campaign, right? And every fucking time they're like, well, actually, I'm like, no.
We've done this before.
Spray bottle.
It is not Groundhog's Day.
No. And because the GM is going to get cheesed off, right? The DM's going to be like, right? Because it's the millionth time that they've had to say this. And every time we have to stop. So the person's like, can you write it down? Like, if you're a rules lawyer who can't help but correct things. I played in a Curse of Lady Strahd game with somebody who was a lovely rules lawyer, right? Like she had to say what it was, even though the person DMing was more rule of cool because there were some people that were very old hat at D&D and some that are newer. But like for the most part, like the game was very, chill, right? It wasn't, it was an offline game, home game, but this person needs the crunch, right? They need to pay attention to the rules. They're autistic. That's just the way their mind works. They have to say what the rule is, right? They can't hold it in. So they warned us like, hey, I'm not a rules lawyer. I just know the rules.
Right.
And I have a weird tick where I got to say it. And I'm so sorry in advance. And all of us were like, oh, that's fine. I was like, I'm learning how to play. Say it. I would love to know. I don't know anything, right? I'm a little baby.
That's the kind of rules lawyer that I like, where they're like, this is what the rule is, just so you know. It's your game. Do what you want. It's when it's, well, okay, if you as the GM want to break the rules, if you want to be wrong, I'm like, no. And I'm also
the GM cannot break the rules.
Correct.
The rules are a guideline to help you tell your story. They're not the end all be all.
No, page 2 literally says that the DM can say whatever they want and whatever they say goes. That's in the rules.
Hey, Zycram. Yeah, I am very much the rule of cool GM of like, okay, that thing that you're wanting to do, it breaks the rules. We all know that is not how the game works. That is so cool in this moment. I want you to do it 100%, but you're not doing it again. We're agreeing in this moment, narratively, that is perfect. This is your one. You got to find another way to ruin everything in a really cool way.
On a similar note, Schwa Vincent in chat here has silvery barbs, and I have made my point clear on it. It's like, I'm not going to ban silvery barbs, but if you start overusing it and abusing it, you're going to start facing enemy wizards who have it too.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to be.
If you start using and abusing it, I am going to start counterspelling heals.
I had a finger pointed at
you don't counterspell heal, you counterspell revivify.
Boom.
That is how you are hated for life.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was definitely called in, so to speak, for trying to spam some meta magic stuff and magical guidance. I'm like, how many times? One time. Are you sure? Because it doesn't say how many times. No, but no.
My home game, our GM modified the system that we're using to where it's like, it's one of those systems that has specialty dice. And he's like, never mind. We're not rolling the specialty dice. We're not playing with that, right? Every dice that you would roll is a 1, because with those specialty dice, it averages to 1. And I'm like, looking at it, I'm like, my character has counterspell. I don't have to roll for counterspell. It just happens if I have a reaction and I call it, and it automatically adds 4 difficulty because my power is 4. It automatically requires 4 successes instead. Like normally it's a 1 to 3 successes to cast a spell. Mm-hmm. Suddenly it's 5 to 7. This is broken. And he's good at
fudge dice. It sounds like fudge dice.
No, like so normally you roll your power, and the number of dice, sometimes they'll be blank. Sometimes it'll be 1, sometimes it'll be 2, but the average is 1. So he's like, we're not messing with that many dice rolls. There's no reason. This is just how it works. And I'm like, I'm going to use this once in a big bad fight. And then he's going to be like, and we're nerfing that. I'm going to be like, totally fair, totally fair.
I think fudge dice, it's just, the dice there's 2 blanks, 2 pluses, and 2 minuses. And you basically, you roll it and you want more pluses than minuses. And that's, but like on average, you usually get 1.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Which is enough. That's what you need to succeed most of the time.
That's what I'm encouraging Piper to kind of, if we ever run the Star Trek game, maybe just adopt that instead of trying to get everyone's specialty dice or rolling a d6 and then saying, so which one is it, and checking the conversion chart, because it's just
that's
faster.
a bummer.
Yeah, it's rough. Okay.
Well, if it's Star Trek, are you gonna try the Modifius 2d20 system?
That's what Piper is looking at running.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Modifius at this point, so I'm like, it won't be too much of a conversion for me.
I have the Fallout books, and I tried to get a game going, but then I had to get a day job, and
that's real talk.
Yeah, yeah. I will chat about that, but not on stream. Zycrypt says, gotta love when the rules lawyer is the one who wants the rules to be bent just a little bit, just for them. Ilaria says, I'm forever at war with my neurodivergence and need to follow the rules and do things correctly, and my Aries nature is laughing and villainous chaos.
Oh no, you poor
Ro-
thing.
Right? Ironic says, in my games, the artificer that uses silvery barbs for clutch moments and only for those moments that are just plain frustrating. Rude day jobs, very rude day jobs. Like, look.
Very rude, inconsiderate.
Yes. But yes,
I will say though, I am a person who has tried to argue to the powers that be that TTRPGs are team building, and therefore we should be allowed to play together the last hour once per week. And I was laughed at, but now TTRPGs are all the rage, and people are talking about how it's great team building. So
I did an entire 3-minute talk at my old job because we had these we had speed education, like lightning videos, lightning talks.
Mhm.
And I was like, I hate team building. I used to work for Red Bull. They tried to tell me I had to jump out of an airplane for team building. They tried to tell me I had to play ice hockey when my coworker had just had his ribs broken playing ice hockey at work. Like, I'm like, I don't want to do these things, right? I have no desire.
No.
But I'll play D&D and I'll walk you through it. Like, we'll team build. We'll go on an adventure together. No, I work in video games. I don't want to go outside.
No.
I want to sit near the outside and look at the beautiful outside. I don't want to be in it, and certainly not with no Wi-Fi.
No, it's going to get on me.
Pokemon Go?
Look, I played so much Pokemon
That's the sole
Go.
exception.
Yeah. But also, that's not like extreme sport. Like, I mean, yeah, there were a couple.
You can stay in your car the whole time and play Pokemon Go, technically.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like every McDonald's drive-through is a Pokestop.
Yeah, they sponsor it. When I lived on Hollywood Boulevard, we had literal flash mobs that would show up, take down a gym, and vanish within a 3-minute window. Like, we organized a Discord, we all showed up, and I had a friend who used to work there but had since moved to the East Coast come to visit, and she was like, oh yeah, let's play Pokemon Go. And like, I'm like, okay, Roosevelt Hotel, raid is happening in 5 minutes. Let's go. We go down, she's standing there, we're chatting, she watches like 20 people roll up, we all take down the gym in moments, and then everyone vanishes. She's like, what just happened? That was magic. There were 20 people here and now they're all gone.
Yep.
Those
Solid plan.
Days. The golden days.
The golden days, yes.
But we have had a couple people come in while we were gabbing. So Nathan, give us another quick rundown of the cube, what it is, show it to us, and let's talk a little bit about the Backerkit and what those tiers are going to be.
So yeah, this is Lazlo's cubed crypt. It's a puzzle cube that has a map on it in its solved state, and you can twist it up and force your players to solve it. And I make sure that when I do this, I don't turn it too much because I have no idea how to actually solve these things well. Oh my gosh, what have I done if I fix it? Oh boy. Well, that's ruined forever now. I'll have to buy a new one. Oh no.
What have I done? See?
It can't be too far off.
Chaos.
There's only so many different places it could be. Okay, that's right. That's right. All right.
Ilaria says if jobs can set aside an hour for mindfulness exercises, then it could be okay to do TTRPGs for an hour too.
No, that's not right. Uh-oh.
If you solve the puzzle and the box opens, a magic blue burb pops out. Ilaria, I see your deepest desires, and I approve of them. But yes.
Well, I'll have to have someone else fix that for me because I ain't getting it fixed anytime soon.
Oh no.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I have two other prototypes that were my proof of concept prototypes that have not been jumbled up, and then I have 4 other proof of concept prototypes that were printed wrong.
Oops. That happens.
Well, no, it's okay. I mean, I ordered them, and the people sent me ones that were messed up, and I'm like, hey, you messed up. They're like, oh, did we mess up? I'm like, yeah, this is not how your website said it was going to look when I looked at the 3D model that it made for me. Gizmo, why are you trying to chew my shoulder up?
Because I can.
Right,
Literally.
yeah.
Because I used to be a dinosaur. That's why.
Right, yeah. So I sent it, I called them up and I talked to somebody. I'm like, yeah, I need you guys to redo this because it got messed up. And then they sent me another one and it was messed up in a different way.
Yep.
And then when I called them again, I'm just like, hey, look, is there anybody there that plays Dungeons and Dragons? Could you have them look at it before you send it to me and make sure that it makes sense to them? I don't know if they did that, but the next one came through just fine. So
that's a reasonable request.
I'd like to imagine that they just gave it to somebody who's like, hey, you play Dungeons and Dragons. Does this look right? And they're like, no, you better make a new one. Here, let me look at the thing. And then they just fix it and everything's fine. I'm just like, okay, cool. And overall, I decided not to go with them for it because I'm like, hey, do you have bulk rates? And they're like, no. And I'm like,
no.
Yeah, they don't have bulk rates. And
no. That's just a waste of everyone's time.
Right.
Anya, you did not fix this.
I did not fix it, no.
This is worse than it was before. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh.
I would definitely mess it up.
Yeah.
But I would love watching someone else solve it.
According to
I would
this,
love to run
your
it.
Bot is saying an ad is running.
Yeah.
Taking a break.
Yeah. If we're streaming video games, we do a break every hour, but because it's an hour and a half, I don't want to interrupt too much.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. I just have that as a reminder, so at least I know. It helps me keep track of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because,
Gotcha.
sometimes you get chitty-chatting and you're like, oh, I blinked and it's been an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yikes.
What are the tiers for your project again? Like, I think that's a...
It doesn't have, I haven't, codified and set aside exactly where all the tiers are.
Totally.
Sure.
I figured out, I've decided that I'm not going to be one of those terrible people who's like, oh, you're going to work for me for 10 cents. No, I'm paying the writers a quarter a word, which is a pretty good rate.
Hell yeah.
And, but I did also say, it's like, hey, look, you can write as much as you'd like, but I'm capping it at this. So if you write more than this many words, this is the amount you're getting. So don't overdo it unless you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm not stamping down on your creativity, but also I have. Budgets.
So then I've set a lot of the tiers are that amount plus a bit extra because there's Backerkit takes some of it. You gotta set aside taxes.
Shipping.
How much are the actual things? What's the actual cost of the stuff? Plus any art that I'll need to commission for somebody's thing. If somebody's got something where they've, got there's a monstrous spectral 3-headed deer that probably doesn't exist as stock art.
Mm-hmm.
And I fortunately have, at the little bit right now, I have an artist that I've hired for a different project that is coming out later that is very piratey.
Ooh.
Where he's done a lot of art, but then he got to the point where he's like, I've made a lot of art and I don't have any other ideas, or there's specific things you want. You've still paid for 9 more images. I'm like, just put a pin on that. We'll figure it out when we comes. And then when this project came up, I'm like, hey, so there's 9 more images. Why don't you come and join the Discord server? And so I've got some stuff that I can get.
That's awesome.
Great.
If I need it.
Ilaria is very excited about pirates.
That's Hodag. If anybody's on Blue Sky, I don't think Hodag is on Shitter anymore. Sorry, X.
No, we do not. No, it's Shitter.
When you transliterate Chinese into English, the sound is an X, so I just call it Shitter and just spell it with a capital X.
Ilaria says Pirate Burbs of the Caribbean, the game, please.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I've got that. Got a bunch of art for it.
Candace's brain just went.
Oh.
Got all kinds of plans. That adventure is. Oh, Gizmo wants to be on top of the monitor now. All right, you guys, don't fight.
I say that to my cats. It doesn't do any good.
Same.
Well, Molly just wants to be everyone's friend, and Gizmo doesn't like getting close to other birds. Molly,
Nord wants to know if your pirate project is video game or tabletop.
Oh, it's tabletop.
Tabletop.
Nord, I don't program video games. You know that. Maybe he doesn't know that. He's also one of the players.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Molly,
got the whole
Gizmo
gang
doesn't
here.
want to cuddle. Right.
Molly's just a little lovebird.
That's
Molly
all.
is just a little lovebird. Molly wants to love all the birds, and the other birds are like, yeah, no, please. Gizmo, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Gizmo. It's okay.
No, it's not. Nothing's okay.
She's looking at me.
It's okay.
Why
It's
are
okay.
they looking at me? He just won't leave me alone. I had to break up that very
My
same
baby
fight earlier
brother
today.
wants attention from me.
Why don't you go in your cage and have some water,
Oh.
okay, Gizmo?
Aw.
Yeah, having to drop out of games because of day job is the absolute worst. So.
Oh my
I feel
God.
that
Well,
way.
you know, I mean, yeah, it is.
No, stop.
Apparently, Nathan plays.
Oh yes,
A Null Vengeance
yes.
Paladin named Whimper. That's amazing.
it's Weemper.
Whimper.
Weemper.
My bad.
Weemperosh. Yeah, he's talking about all my characters. I still play in the Star Wars game. That's Fridays. I mean,
Yeah,
Star
you say
Wars
human,
game.
You say
Yeah.
human scholar, but I don't play a human scholar. I'm a starfighter pilot, and this scholar class just happens to be the one that mechanically best fit what I was trying to do. I'm very much the mechanics are an abstraction and should not actually affect things in game. In one of the games I played in the past, my character was just an angry drunk. So I played a barbarian, but he wasn't a barbarian. He was a city kid, grew up in the streets. He drinks too much, and then he hits people with chairs. Sometimes not in that order.
Yeah, I lived
And
in
it's
New
like- so
York.
it's
I
like-
get that.
Mechanically, he's a barbarian, but he's not a barbarian. He's just an angry drunk. And so, like, I'm also very much the person where it's like, you know, the random NPCs shouldn't know the difference necessarily between a wizard and a sorcerer and a warlock mechanically, because they're all mages.
Unless
like,
one of them just
sometimes
is
I
wearing
feel
their,
like-
their sugar daddy's bling, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, wizards wear bling too.
Please.
Everyone wears bling, right? You know?
May I
Got that.
please ask more questions about your Star Wars game?
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to know all about it.
I will
Are-
pop a link into the thing.
Are you playing
I-
5e?
Yes. Let's
And-
go to the main
Candace,
thing.
there may or may not be a Star Wars game in my future.
Oh my God, Kate, chill out. Don't tease me. Don't tease me.
I'm
I
not
love
running
Star
it.
Wars.
I'm playing
TTRPG.
in it. I'm playing in it.
Listen, it doesn't matter. You're going to tell me all about your character, and I'm not going to tell you to shut up.
You
I love Star Trek and Star Wars, like any kind of D&D or TTRPG that is Star Trek or Star Wars themed. I'm like that immediately.
There you go.
you
can
are
copy
going
that
to be very
URL.
happy with
Mm.
let's see, that's being
It's
why is it will you drop it into our Discord chat, and then I will copy paste it in there, because
is it not letting me because
Automod is being a jerk, and it's not even letting me like copy it or approve it. Premise is the player characters
Discord.
aiding the Voss resistance against the Imperial remnants on the planet Voss. It's set shortly after the events of Ashoka.
Ooh.
Yes, there are multiple systems for. Oh, Star Wars 5e. Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
I
system I'm
think-
playing as well.
personally, I don't. I mean, like, I like 5e a lot, but I really feel like the thing is kind of clunky for it.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, they're trying to like use the concepts of magical items from 5e to make items for this. So you've
Yeah.
got thermal detonators of like 6 different strengths, and like
It is a thing, Alaria.
if you have a blaster of this quality, it's basically it's a +1. It's just like, man, why can't we just like not worry about the magical item stuff and just play Star Wars?
So this is the same one that I've played then, Star Wars 5e. I no longer play with this person, but the podcast that I did of it was awesome. I got to be a Twi'lek. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10 would play again. And then I ran Savage Star Wars. Savage Worlds is a Star Wars setting for that system, and I ran that last year for May the 4th, and it was amazing.
If you like Star Wars stuff and want to do Star Wars games, I will never not recommend West End Games D6 setting for Star Wars. They had like the original license back in like 1985, and they made an RPG back then, and then like it's been updated a handful of times, and it gets a reprint every now and then, like when people are like, hey, Star Wars is popular again, hey, here's this book, and so like you can find it, and it's really good. And the West End Games D6 setting is my favorite system for any role-playing game ever. It only has one flaw that I really don't like about it, and that's that your strength is also your damage reduction thing. And so if you just play a really strong character, you just don't take damage, and that's just awkward and obnoxious.
Yeah.
Because like
you two can't hear this, but the playlist decided, let's play some Star Wars-ish music. Right as we had this discussion.
And why not?
Yeah, that's one thing I've been talking to Candace about, like how much I really enjoy the Gilmore's picture didn't pop up. I'm gonna fix that.
It's funny.
One thing I really enjoy about the Modifius system is I've got a character with like 8 strength, and they're the team tank. Like you don't have to be strong to be the tank, which is great. Makes me very happy.
Wait, is 8 not a really high number in that game?
6 is your starting stats, so it's just the tiniest.
Okay, in the Modifius Fallout game, the stats go from 1 to 10. So having an 8 is like super mutant level of strength.
We do Acton Cthulhu, which every stat starts at 6. The max you can get it without GM permission is 12.
Okay, yeah, that I know of that setting because there are ads for it in the Fallout books. Buy our other books. Kill Nazis. I mean, they've got me on that one.
Look, it is a fun system. If you decide, and I'm going to shamelessly plug here, if you want to play Acton Cthulhu, I actually made a Google Docs version of the character sheet that auto-calculates like your bonuses and your armor and courage, because I couldn't remember what it was because I play too many different systems, so I just made it auto-do that, and that's available for free on our website.
Now, if only you could make a piece of paper that auto-calculates it.
That is a little bit beyond but you could print off, because I did make it pretty, so it's not just like grids.
But I like writing.
I get that.
I like eraser smudges.
I'm
an old school player.
I cannot make a piece of paper do math for you.
That part.
Yeah.
Nord sent you a link to the YouTube channel that we would like to share so people can watch the Star Wars game. If you would be so kind as to copy paste that to me, so I can copy paste that into chat.
I have a lot of windows open.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay, Discord. Okay. Open up Discord.
Come here, buddy. There we go. Look at your pretty new boat.
Copy link.
Look at your hands. Coming up. Come up if you want to.
There we go.
Yep.
Now I've booped
Thank you, and then I'll paste it there.
The booping has been booped.
Yes, the booping has been booped. Here you are, Ilaria, and everyone else.
No, sorry, it's not booping. Apparently, the captioning thinks I'm pooping.
I mean, are you pooping?
No, I'm not.
Yes.
Kitty.
We often have we are a pet friendly channel. So yes, we were discussing a little bit in the green room that it is a wonderfully terrible time to be trying to run projects like this because social media has imploded.
Yeah.
Which makes it very difficult to promote things, be it podcasts, be it Backerkits, Kickstarters, and cool projects, be it even just how do we organize to try and stop some of the chaos that is happening in the world around us?
I mean, I'm definitely feeling some of the urges to get some of my other things, like back when the OGL debacle was happening. Gosh, what was that? How many years ago was that now? Feels like it was only yesterday.
3, 2,
Seriously, 2.
2.
Anyway, so I started coming up with my own system that was, it's going to have the D20 bones of 5th edition, but there's going to be a bit more crunch, a lot more OSR style, but Shadow Dark already existed. So it's well, okay, I won't do a D&D one. I always like sci-fi stuff. So I've got a bunch of stuff already in my head, written down in places. Hopefully I can remember where those places are, for a system that I'm calling at the moment Corridors and Commandos, because alliteration is fun. Got the class concepts, since there's not going to be magic by default. That magic will be able in settings I want to. There's Gizmo. He's unhappy.
Oh.
But yeah,
Gizmo's little life is so hard.
It is. But I want to make the system so that it'll work without magic, that magic is not a requirement, and that magic or psionics or whatever space magic they decide to throw in can be added on as part of whatever setting it is. So my idea though is to have a thing where it's setting agnostic rules for Corridors and Commandos, and then there will be a separate thing for here is the setting that I came up with for it. And that setting is going to have psionics, but it's not going to be part of the main rules. And so the archetypes, instead of having, wizards, priests, fighty people, and stealthy people, I've changed them so it's going to be academics, combatants, engineers, and scoundrels, or aces for short. Because I like acronyms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My brain stopped functioning for a brief moment there.
Totally.
So yeah, but one of these days I'm going to do that. But right now I remember where I was. The whole point of it though is that I want the setting, the rules to be kind of broad enough that you can do it in any time period, whether you want to do space or if you want to do a 1930s helping the, trying to fight off the fascists in Spain as they're taking over beforehand, and doing an Indiana Jones style punch Nazis, because that's never not a wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Did I double negative that right? Always punch Nazis. If you see a Nazi, punch them. Unless they're a police officer, don't want to get arrested for assaulting a police officer, even if they're Nazi. It's terrible. Sorry. Yeah.
Just don't want to get caught,
Exactly.
Right. Stuff the opening scene in Hellboy, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, of the Indiana Jones stuff. I maybe think that the world needs a few more punch Nazi games.
Mm-hmm.
For no particular reason.
I can't imagine why. It doesn't seem at all relevant today.
No, yeah. Nothing. Nothing relevant at all.
But
Just
we are
innocuous Nazi punching.
Right? No reason. We are kind of nearing the end of our time together. Chat, if you have any additional questions for Nathan, now is the time to throw them out.
Yes.
Nathan, remind us again what you do and what you've got coming up. I'm going to drop your links in chat again, and just, remind us who you are.
I am a game designer. Sometimes I design board games. Sometimes I design card games. Most of the time, I write stuff for role-playing games. And Lazlo's Crypt Cube will be launching on Backerkit soon. Unfortunately, the cube is mixed up, and I have no idea how to fix it. But yeah, so we'll be launching that coming up here soon. I've got some music. I'm hoping to have a little teaser trailer video, which is mainly the reason why I might push it back a little, because we've got less than a month to go, and I don't have my teaser trailer video yet. But
these are important.
Hopefully someday soon, Lazlo will come for you all.
Perfect evil cackle.
It's not my only one.
Ilaria says, we got kitties, burbs, and puzzle cubes. It's a good stream. I 100% agree. Oh, thank you for joining, Nord. I will say hello as soon as we are off air. But, you know, I'm a little occupied trying to do this and manage this beast here who is being headbutted.
I love the
and
bow
demanded.
tie.
That's a
by the
noble
way.
beast.
Just
Look
like,
at that
I've got
high
a bow
quality
tie.
cat.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Guy.
High fives.
Yes, he does that. Hey, Loveland, welcome on in. How are you doing? We are just about to wrap up. Candace, remind us who the heck are you and what the heck are you doing here?
I'm Candace. I don't have a puzzle cube and I want one. I need one of these things so bad. I am like deeply enamored. Before I say who I am, just a shout out to all the small creators that are doing it. We had some discourse recently that we actually spoke about indie creators and people that are out there on their own doing it like Nathan is. So if you are in the chat and you're watching this, or if you are watching this later on, do yourself a favor, retweet, repost. I will not say what you do on Blue Sky because it's gross and I hate it, but do that thing and make sure that you are repping and supporting the projects that you love, because things are going to be harder and harder to find. It's going to be harder and harder to make things. So support those small creators like Nathan. You might see some things that your boy and your boy Kay might also be getting into in the next year or two that are going to require y'all to do some
Is that
reposting
officially
and
what they
supporting.
call it?
So yes, unfortunately, it's very tragic. But yeah, please remember to do that. Support your small creators because we need the help. But I am Candace the Magnificent. You can find me at the Candace Marie on Blue Sky and a little bit on Twitter, and at Candace the Magnificent everywhere else. I'm going to probably start streaming soon. I keep saying that for months and months. I've said it. But I'm trying to do Mondays and Wednesdays during work hours because I don't have a day job.
Yeah.
So until that changes, that's what our schedule I think is going to be, so we can keep busy.
Yeah.
I wish I was independently wealthy enough that I could stream too. That would be great.
I mean, honestly,
I'd put on my pirate hat, I'd put Gizmo on my shoulder, and I'd be like, "You're ready to play some RPGs, everybody," or whatever.
yeah.
And then I'd play an old Mac only RPGs that nobody's ever heard of.
That's the dream right there. I think I'm going to start with Mass Effect and potentially Disco Elysium. We'll see what happens. I've had a lot of requests for that one, but if you want to see more of me in things that I am doing in the next couple of months, you will see Monaco 2 launching on Steam. My voice appears in that as Una the Brute. If you liked Monaco 1 back about a decade ago when that came out, they're making a fancier version of it. I can also be heard in the podcast's Frequencies, Partial Veil, Bloom and Blight, and more. And if you want to hear both me and Kay in something, there's a bunch of stuff like the Ghost of Grey Mog right here on Chaotic Wholesome, but also in the 12-sided stories backlog, Candlestick Crimes, which is a Sword of the Serpentine campaign. So check out our stuff, man.
Yeah. And I'm Kay. I started this channel, and I'm glad you're all here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, spending your evening. Thank you, Nathan, for all of the burbs, for the puzzle cube stuff. Because again, I'm, depending on when these things, I'm planning a trip to the UK to see my friend who's obsessed with puzzle cubes, and this might have to happen. Like, it's gonna have to happen.
I will say, Candace, when you do start streaming, I will recommend the original Baldur's Gate. It is a great game, but I will also say in advance, don't look up how to cheese the game. It'll take all the fun out of it.
Okay. I will try to find that one because the new Baldur's Gate is a little too rich for my unemployed blood, if you know what I mean.
Are you talking like money-wise, or
yes.
are you just like talking about like the steamy scenes?
No, I mean monetarily. It is an $80 game for Xbox S. And I'm like, I'll get there eventually. Today is not that day.
In it, you can choose the bear and stick it to all those men who hate it when women choose the bear.
Can I say it's like the highlight of my Baldur's Gate 3 experience that I'm like looking forward to was the bear. I've been told about it several times and I'm like,
oh man.
What about the illithid? Can I get down with the illithid? No?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah?
Mintara's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, we're gonna try to go for that.
Although that is
for
definitely a toxic relationship.
For what it's worth, Candace, Kinley chose the bear.
Good
Didn't
choice,
exactly
Kinley.
know what he was getting into, but Kinley chose the bear.
Did he have a nice time?
Say,
The squirrel
This is-
Right.
certainly had a reaction.
All right. That's all
Now
I need to know.
this
That's
could
high
just be
praise.
a me thing, but on the thing when y'all's pronouns pop up on the screen, you have the same pronouns, but on your things they're both reversed, and it just has been bugging me for this entire hour.
Candace prefers they, and I don't
Yes.
particularly care, but
Right,
you know,
but-
I like to
but-
remind folks there's a they.
Yours is she they,
Mhm.
and theirs is they she, and I'm like they're it's a me thing.
I-
have
Flippy
to- I have
floppies.
to- I have to
Totally
just
understand.
acknowledge that this is a me thing.
But yes, thank you all for hanging out. Pronouns in bio, so you know, fight me.
Yeah.
You can find us here every Tuesday doing this. And like I said, this Friday, find me over on Entropy Emporium playing Brandon, the Himbo Drake Warden Ranger. And yes, as Candace so brilliantly said, which I'm gonna have to drop in the game now, the Dragon Mechs, the drapes, the Dragon Match the Drapes. It was perfect. It was so
Yeah.
good.
Do the dragons match the dragons?
Yes.
Yes.
That.
Brilliant. So good. Emergency Broad Podcast season 4 is coming, and as I said, there's a couple more things that are in the works, and I hope to be able to share soon. So
A
thank
fun
you
fact. The middle of drapes gets censored for understandable reasons.
Oh my goodness.
all.
We broke
Thank-
K today. That's
Thank you, Pixel Chat. Right? Like, I mean,
It reminds me, a long time ago, there was this first-person shooter, America's Army, and you had two teams. You had defense and assault, but you couldn't type assault in chat.
Yep.
Because it would censor the first part of the word.
so I'm gonna take us back to a really strange time on the internet called Neopets. When all of the kids wanted to RP wolves in the forums, and they had to auto change a certain word, so it was always wolf fishing grounds was the name of the thing, and no one could figure out for the longest time why it was always fish instead of what they were trying to do. Which also meant that if you ever typed approximately, you would say approxifishly. Neopets was a time, y'all. I'm sure I just dated myself.
We know there's a
No,
bunch
no,
of
I mean-
furries in here, but we don't condone it. Okay.
There was a second edition rule book. They made it on a computer, but this was in the very early days of computer. Somebody decided to change the word mage to wizard. But when they did the find and replace feature on the thing, they didn't put a space in front of mage. And so you had spells that would do 1d6 fire to wizard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The wizard.
right. Before we go on too much more of a tangent, which I love tangents, but I want to give you both your evenings back. Again, thank you all for hanging out with us. We will be obviously chatting in Discord after. I have not been as active in Discord or in socials as I want to be, but hey, the world is terrible, and you know, sometimes surviving is thriving. So, you know, apologies if I am not quite as active as I normally am, but I appreciate you all for coming out all the time. You are wonderful. Thank you again, Nathan, for sharing your project with us. I can't wait to see it in action. Candace, thank you for being here and being amazing. Be kind to yourself. Be excellent to others. We will see you next time, and we're going to find someone to raid. Bye, y'all.
Bye.